when we go out to various places, we wear GoPros so that we can record things for various reasons. And one of the things we do is we record so that we can improve ourselves. I've recorded myself, and then I share that with some of the other abolitionist directors, and they get feedback. We don't just naturally have the right things to say. It has sharing my faith and facing this evil has challenged me and stretched me and grown me like nothing in my life. So anyway, I wanted to play. There's a Christian radio station in Sandpoint, Idaho, that has a half-an-hour program on Sundays, and then they put it up on the internet so you can listen to it. And if you have an iPhone, you can get the podcast app, and you can listen to them. You can pre-download them while you're on Wi-Fi. And they started this about a year ago, and 9 months ago, and you can actually go back to the very latest one and start playing it as you drive, and it'll automatically go next to next to next, and you can play them all. What we're going to hear is the one that was from 2 weeks ago. And the man's name is Scott Herndon. He's the director of the Abolitionist Society of North Idaho, and he's going to share some facts. And then at the end, I want to open up for questions for you guys.
What's the name of the app?
It's a podcast app. It's Abolitionist Radio. Abolitionist Radio. You can just type on Google Abolition Radio. It's abolitionradio.com. And you can look at the archive, and you can actually play it just from the web interface, or if you get the app, you can actually, it's more smooth, you can just play right through. So if any of you that do driving or have long periods where you can listen to stuff, it's a great way to kind of get familiar with abolitionism without having to take your eyes off the road.
And my goal today is to provoke and inspire you listening to become an abolitionist of human abortion.
This is about, I'm going to play about, I think it's about 20 minutes of this, and then there's a song, and then we'll have question time.
Abortion. I wish you would contact the program and tell me that you have become one. You can always email us feedback@abolitionistradio.com. But our goal here is not just to entertain you, it's to get you to think about abortion as being child sacrifice, to always look at what the scriptures have to say about abortion, and then to provoke you, to encourage you to become an abolitionist of human abortion, just like I know you would have been an abolitionist of human slavery back in the day when black Americans were enslaved in this country. Let's look first today at abortion rates in America. How widespread is the problem? How many are actually getting abortions in America? Now, for these statistics today, I have gone to abort73.com because there's a good compilation there. You can always go to Guttmacher Institute and other places. It's very simple to Google these numbers. But generally speaking, since Roe v. Wade, which was the ruling by the Supreme Court that made abortion legal in every state of the United States of America, there have been 56 million human beings murdered in the United States of America through induced abortion. 56 million. Were you bothered by the fact that a gunman went into Sandy Hook Elementary about a year and a half ago and murdered 28 elementary school kids? Did that bug you? 28 elementary school children were murdered that day. If you take the number of abortions per year in the United States of America, well known to be 1.2 to 1.3 million human beings per year in the United States of America, and you divide that by 365 days, you'll get 3,500 approximately murdered per day. That's how many abortions average out per day in the United States of America. 3,500 happening in almost every city across the land, abortion. And that means that every single day there are the equivalent of 125 Sandy Hook elementary school massacres every day in the United States because of abortion. Now, the country was appalled about the Sandy Hook elementary school massacre. We were up in arms, rightly so. Why aren't we up in arms about abortion? Why aren't we? It is 125 times worse than one Sandy Hook elementary school massacre every single day, including Sunday. That's just taking the abortion numbers divided by 365. It is horrid. In the entire World War II, if you take all of the deaths related to caused by Hitler, all of the war deaths, all of the deaths by starvation, exposure, etc., you might get up to 50 million. And that was over a number of years. We've had more than that in abortion. Every single year, and that's just in the United States since it was legalized, every single year in the world, there are 50 million abortions. Every single year in the world. That is incredible. That is incredible. It's
One quick thing I want to interject. I started to say it earlier in 2013, that 80-20 number, and the 1.2 million a year, exact same numbers as, it only took 3 years for the abortion numbers to go from very low to over 1 million a year, and they've been above 1 million a year every year since then. That 80-20 number, that 20% of Americans want it to be illegal in all cases, and 80% of Americans don't, has been the same every single year since 1978 or something like that. There has been no improvement in those numbers, none. So you hear about abortion clinics closing, 1.2 million a year, every year, and it will continue for the rest of our lives unless something different is done.
mind-blowing. And part of what we want to do today is say, well, what's the church doing about that? Because, you know, we are the ambassadors of Jesus Christ. This is a Christian radio program. Presumably, most of you listening are Christians. And who did he give the truth to? Who's carrying the truth in the world? Who's supposed to be in the world but not of the world? And who's supposed to be the ambassador of Jesus Christ, following the parable of the Good Samaritan, loving our neighbor, delivering those being drawn to death, Proverbs 24:11. Who's supposed to be doing that? Who has the salt? Who has the light? Who has prioritized the love of God and love of neighbor? It should be the Christian, right? Aren't we the solution to abortion? Don't we have it? Don't we have the solution? It's the gospel. And aren't we to render direct aid to those being drawn to death? We're going to analyze that. Let's look at a few more statistics about abortion. California is the #1 state for abortion. 17% of all abortions are obtained by women in California. 51%, by the way, that's almost 200,000 abortions per year just in that state. That's amazing. There are a lot of churches in California. What are they doing about it? There are 200,000 of their preborn human beings being murdered every year, preborn neighbors, in that state. What is the church doing about it? I asked that question. Here's some more statistics. 51% of U.S. women obtaining abortions are younger than 25. So mostly relatively young women. And did you know that teenagers, 19 and younger, obtain 18% of all abortions in the United States of America every year? 19 and younger. 19. 18% of abortions times 1.2 million abortions is over 200,000 deaths perpetrated by mothers that are teenagers. Where are the parents? Where's society on this? Why are girls going and getting abortions? Girls, 19 and younger, inducing abortion over 200, paying an assassin to kill their child over 200,000 times in the United States every year. Well, here's the three major reasons that women give for having an abortion. The top reason, they say that having a baby would interfere with work, school, or other responsibilities. The next top reason, they say they can't afford a child. And half of those women getting an abortion say they do not want to be a single parent or are having problems with their husband or partner. I want you to note all of those reasons have one thing in common: selfishness, prioritization of one's own flesh leads to the destruction of another person's flesh. The woman prioritizes her flesh and kills someone as a result so that she can maintain her priorities. It's self-centered. It's wicked, cruel, and wrong. Okay, I want to look at the current Gallup poll on abortion because it's out as of last month, May 2014. A lot of you don't know these basic facts. If I were to ask, and I encourage you to always contact us at feedback@abolitionistradio.com. You are listening to Abolitionist Radio. We are abolitionists of human abortion. We are born-again Christians who oppose this great evil that is child sacrifice in our culture. We want to get rid of it. There are things that we should be doing every day as the church, as the bride of Christ, to make that happen. We should not be waiting for the election cycle every 4 years. This is not a political issue. Abortion is mass homicide. It's 125 Sandy Hook Elementaries a day. If you wait 4 years and just vote, you may or may not get a candidate, a representative on your,